managed properly, this is something doable. And there are multiple pathways available for doctors to Australia. The openings are quite massive out there.
I imagine there's a huge demand for general practitioners too.
This is very interesting. So, yes, actually there is a short of route. So, this is where companies like Envertiz comes in. So, probably 2.5 crores, 3 crores annually.
That's really great.
Surprising fact about it is that
Picture this. You got a critical position open. 3 months pass. 6 months pass. You're missing your project deadline. Your team is burning out. Every candidate you find either wants twice your budget or can handle the visa miss. Sounds familiar?
that's not hypothetical. Then that's Tuesday for most hiring managers out there in 2025.
Hi, I'm Nitin Afraid. In this podcast, we are going to expose why global recruitment is struggling and most importantly, how smartest companies are fixing it. If you're hiring or even looking for a job, stick around because we are going to discuss how candidates and even companies could save months of headache when it comes to global recruitment.
Yeah, let's get tactical.
Today, I'm here with Mr. Abhay, who is a business development manager in Envertiz Consultancy, who have been helping recruitment companies scale globally. Abhay, welcome to this podcast. Okay, Abhay, let's start with healthcare. The WHO's numbers are very scary. We are heading towards 10 to 11 million healthcare worker shortage in 2030, which is just 5 years. So what does shortage look like when it comes to doctors?
So then I'll explain to you with an example. We had a client who was a hospital who had requirements for two general practitioners, basically doctors. So they were finding a very hard time replacing those slots. So what they did was they brought in other candidates local for 500 Australian dollars an hour. So it tracked up to almost 1.8 million in a year. So finally they approached us. We were able to replace these candidates and they were able to generate the ROI within just 4 months. So we are heading towards that.
So for a hospital administrator, what works? The standard playbook is broken.
So Nitin, think in timelines. So basically for hiring a doctor, it takes around 18 to 24 months, especially international. So if managed properly, this is something doable. So at Envertiz, what we do is we prepare a solid pipeline of candidates by identifying candidates from countries like India, Egypt, Middle East, and also identifying candidates who are out there in UK, Canada, Australia, who are planning to switch countries. And what we offer them is guidance for registration and help with the registration through our pre-registration team as well. And once the registration is complete, job openings are available and the candidates are ready to go.
That's a talent inventory before the need is critical.
That's right, Nader. So we have doctors who have been dreaming of working in Australia. So what we do is we identify these doctors, we help them with the pathway, we help them with how to go ahead with the critical education or the certifications that are required to work in Australia. First of all, we explain to them about the pathway. And there are multiple pathways available for doctors to Australia, one of them being the PEP specialist pathway. And we would be informing about how to go ahead with the pathway. We'll be giving the full support. We'll be giving them the full guidance. We will be informing them how your work life would be in Australia. Rather than the candidates being motivated by the salary alone, they'll be motivated by what their life is going to be in Australia. So when we look at the candidate side, it's a dream come true. But when we look at the employer side, it's like they're getting their GP and who is motivated by the practice in Australia. So it's a win-win for both sides.
So Abhay, have I heard that there are opportunities openings for doctors in countries like Australia, Canada, and even some part of Europe. So what's happening over there?
The openings are quite massive out there. So especially into countries like Australia, Canada, these countries are recruiting doctors from countries which have a surplus of qualified candidates, such as India, Pakistan, Middle East, Egypt, etc. And they have even opened up some kind of specialist pathways, certain kinds of specialist pathways, such as for Australia, there is a pathway called the specialist PEP pathway, which moves away from the traditional AMC pathway where they have to go through an examination, clinical examination as well. So the process takes around almost a couple of years, but with the help of these specialist pathways, candidates who are qualified and eligible can travel to Australia or start working in Australia within a period of 6 months to 18 months. So that's something that we can always look at.
That sounds promising. Walk me through how that works.
So the PEP specialist pathway, right? This is designed for doctors who have completed specialist training in their home country. So previously, or apart from the AMC normal pathway, what it includes examinations, both practical as well as they'll have to take a written examination as well. So what happens here is they will be their competency and their qualifications will be assessed by a recognized authority such as Royal College of General Practitioners. And once their compatibility or competency have been proven, candidates can come down to Australia to work where their experience and their required qualification has been proven that which is similar to Australian qualification which is required.
I imagine there's a huge demand for general practitioners too.
Absolutely. So when it comes to general practitioners right now, this is very interesting. So when it comes to general practitioners right now, Australia has huge demands. So what, like I explained earlier, so what happens is they'll get their qualification and their experience assessed by a recognized authority like Royal College of General Practitioners, and it is where candidates with qualifications from colleges such as MRCGP, that is a membership from Royal College of General Practitioners in the UK, and MICGP, the Irish College of General Practitioners. So candidates or doctors who have received these memberships or credentials have significant advantage while applying for this compatibility or competency test.
What about doctors in India? Do they have access to this kind of programs?
Yeah, absolutely. Doctors in India do have access to these programs. MICGP and MRCGP are something common, not very common, but there are a lot of doctors who have these recognitions. So MRCGP is usually named as the member of Royal College of General Practitioners in the UK, and MICGP is usually for Ireland. And the candidates would have to go over there. They'll have to have enough experience over there, at least 3 years of experience, to have these memberships of the credentials. But so the basic pathway for a doctor or someone to get into UK would be going through the GMC pathway. So when it comes to GMC pathway, we could divide it into 3 steps. One would be the PLAB examinations. PLAB means professional professional and linguistic assessment board, where these doctors would be having a written examination as well as a practical examination. For the practical examination, they'll have to go to UK. Written examination can be taken in India. And once they are done with their examination, they will go for the GMC registration. Once they have the GMC registration, they can go work as a junior doctor in UK. So while working as a junior doctor, the benefit of this is that they'll be able to complete their assessment, which is required for their MRCGP registration. They'll be able to earn potentially earning starting from around 43,000 to 63,000 while they're completing their practice, and also they'll be setting their future for upgrading their career, moving to another country with bigger recognitions, bigger pay scales, bigger opportunities. So it is pretty similar for Ireland as well. The candidates would have to go through the similar process when it comes to Ireland as well. The exams and the qualifications would be different, but the process is similar.
There's a huge amount of time and financial investment. Is there a shorter route?
Yes, actually there is a shorter route. For doctors who have experience of more than 5 years, there is a pathway called CEGPR, where they'll be applying for directly with the RCGP, for the Royal College of General Practitioners, for a shorter route. So what this does is, instead of the examination pathway, you'll have to submit a portfolio of all your credentials and your competencies, proving that your experience and your competence is very similar to that of UK standard. So instead of going through a 3-year program for UK especially, you can apply for this program, this pathway, and you'll be able to complete the entire process within probably 6 to 8 months. And nowadays it's even shorter. And there is a part of MRCGP, which is called MRCGP INT South Asia, which is fully recognized by the RCGP, where the candidates or doctors would be able to take all their examinations from India itself and complete all the required criteria to get the MRCGP registration.
So we all know that Indian doctors are earning pretty much good here itself. So what's the benefit of going to Australia and then getting a job over there?
When you compare it with an international standard, the experience required for a doctor to earn almost 1 crore or 2 crore in India, a doctor would have to have at least 10 plus years of experience. So if you are a doctor who has only 6 years of experience and you have the required registration to work in Australia, you can earn up to 2.2 crores. It would depend on the hospital, the location, because if you're working in an urban setting, your earning capacity might be lesser when it comes to Australia. But if you're working in a rural setting, your earning capacity might go up to 2.5 crores. Even when you are just a doctor with 7 years of experience or 6 years of experience, you'll be able to earn this. And the benefit of this is that the candidates can also look into opportunities when it comes to other international opportunities, because the recognition that they are earning to do this is quite good. And also the work-life balance over there is pretty good while we compare it with Indian standards. So this is where companies like Envertiz comes in. So what happens here is that we help doctors realize this, that there is a huge opportunity out there for them. Most Indian doctors, unless they are running a hospital over here, they are not content with the salary, probably. I would say none of us are content with our salary, but when it comes to doctors' salary, while we compare it with Indian standards and international standards, there is a huge difference. And so when it comes to companies like Envertiz, what we do here is we help them realize that there is a huge opportunity out there, and we guide them through the entire process. We tell them which country is their dream location. We tell them how you can achieve this. For example, a candidate wants to go to Australia. We help them with the starting process, how to get there, go through the PLAB, how to get through the GMC registration, what are the steps taken that is required for MRCGP registration, what is the next step after MRCGP registration, how we are able to connect you with employees out there in Australia to get placed as well. So with the help of companies like Envertiz, candidates would be able to achieve their dreams of working abroad, earning probably 2.5 crores, 3 crores annually.
That's really great.
Yeah, that's absolutely great. So we had this candidate who already had his MRCGP with him because he had previous knowledge about MRCGP and he wanted to work in UK. So when he knew about this package or the Australian process, he was really interested in working with us. He worked with us for almost 8 months to complete his entire process. But the surprising fact about it is that even before he had his RACGP competency assessment done, he got his offer, and it was almost 70 to 75% of his received income. And also, when it comes to doctors' case in India, most doctors would have fixed salary, although there are changes coming up. But in Canada, the doctors are paid for their services, which is called fee for service. Not just the salary package. When it comes to the relocation experience also, it is absolutely great because the employers out there will provide all kinds of support in terms of accommodation, their travel, their visa, their family's visa. Everything is covered while the candidate or the doctor is relocating to the new country. So this is quite a unique as well as a very welcoming experience the candidate gets to experience. So that's absolutely something every doctor deserves.
Speaking about Canada, so what are the opportunities over there for doctors or GPs?
Doctors do have a lot of opportunity in Canada, to be honest. So we got a lot of clients coming in to us asking for doctors to Canada, and we are currently working with a couple of employees out there to place doctors in Canada as well. So the earning potential in Canada is quite high. So a GP is able to earn anywhere more than 350,000 Canadian dollars a year. And when it comes to specialists, it's absolutely crazy. It's around 950,000, almost $1 million Canadian dollars a year. So the earning potential as well as the relocation support that I explained to you about when it came to Australia as well, that is all true when it comes to Canada as well. And many states and provinces in Canada are recruiting candidates from India, Middle East, and other South Asian countries as well. So there is huge opportunity for doctors out there in Canada, to answer your question.
So until now, we have discussed about career and opportunities of doctors in Australia and Canada. So what about Europe? What can they expect?
So when it comes to Europe, I've already explained regarding the process for UK, and everybody knows about. I think most of the people out there know about UK and what the earning potential in UK is like for doctors. So I'll give you something new. So there is Denmark. There is huge opportunity for doctors in Denmark right now, and the the best part about Denmark is the work-life balance. So Denmark has a very strict policy, work-life policy, where doctors only have to work 37 hours a week. When compared with other countries like Spain, Romania, where doctors are grinding 70 to 80 hours a week. If a doctor is able to switch to Denmark, it feels like fresh air for them. And when it comes to the pay scale, also it's quite competitive. So when it comes to Denmark, doctors are usually earning around, if you convert into Indian money, it's around 1.1, 1.2 crores average annually. So, work-life balance, good pay. What more could you ask for?
So what's the catch? Why aren't people directly going to Denmark?
Language is the issue over there. So, the candidates or doctors who are traveling to Denmark would have to have a per se prerequisite of language, Danish language over there. So the Danish Patient Safety Authority manages the authorization over there. So they have requested at least B2 for doctors to work over there. So this might be problematic for some candidates, but through efficient help and agencies like Envertiz, what candidates get is that they're getting free training for their Danish language. So if you are a doctor out there in Europe who is working in Europe with the required credentials, obviously, if you are approaching Envertiz, we'll be able to help you with your Danish or the Danish registration part, the authorization part, and also the Danish learning part. So this is win-win for both the candidate as well as the even employer is looking for candidates who are planning to move over there. It's obviously a win for them as well.
So Abhay, what are the major concerns of candidates and employees?
So when it comes to candidates, the major concern that we see nowadays can be divided into three. Probably first one would be the licensing uncertainty, because most of the licenses the candidates apply for takes around 8 to 12 months. Second one would be the financial burden, because the entire process when it comes to their relocation, everything, the candidate might seem it to be a huge cost. So that's another issue the candidates are facing. Third one would be cultural integration. They're moving to a different location. Their cultural as well as practice, professional life is completely different over there. So things are going to change. So that's the fear of uncertainty. So that might be the biggest fear from the candidate side. So from the employer side, or the client side, from the employer side, the employer's first thing want to ensure is the competency of the candidate, whether the candidate is competent enough to work here. Second thing is a plan, also concerned with the licensing and registration legality part. How we can bring a candidate over here, all the process involved in sourcing, finding the right candidate to bring over here. So these are the major concerns that we see nowadays when it comes to international recruitment, especially for doctors.
So how does Envertiz help to bridge this gap?
Envertiz act as a proper intermediary between both client as well as candidate. So Envertiz helps candidates manage their expectation, which solves both the concerns as of client as well as the candidate when it comes to licensing. With proper guidance and proper information being given, candidates are able to understand how long they'll have to wait, what are the process they'll have to take, and also an informed candidate is much more secure candidate. The candidate dropping out in between is much lesser when it compares to a candidate who is uncertain when they're going to get their registration done, when they're going to get their licensing done. So this helps maintain a balance between the candidate's expectation as well as the client's fear of losing the candidate. So that's one thing. So secondly, when it comes to the candidate's expectation of the cultural integration, like their fear of getting accustomed to a culture, new culture, we are giving them cultural exchange programs even before they're traveling. We are helping them understand what kind of professional experience and what kind of cultural experience they are going to have over there, so that the candidates can be well aware of what's going to happen. And when it comes to the client's part, we keep the clients informed of the candidate's progress. So the clients are also assured that the candidate is still processing with us and the candidate is set to arrive on this particular date. So overall, Envertiz helps maintain a balance between managing the client's expectation as well as the candidate's expectations, providing support as well as information whenever and as required.
Thank you, Abhay. So you get an idea about the current recruitment and job market in healthcare sector. So we'll back with another podcast with some interesting topics. Stay tuned.